Hello and welcome to the Women Engineer Chit-Chats podcast. I'm your host, Steph, and I'm here with Juliette.
Hey.
And Becky.
Hello.
And we are talking all things early careers and engineering. With this month's theme, with Christmas coming up, we are discussing how to talk to friends and family about our jobs and what we do in them. We've followed the format of the classic meme, what the public think I do, what my family think I do, what my friends think I do, and what I actually do. Each episode, we're going to talk about one of our jobs. This week, it's me, Steph, and I work in the technology management team at a technology consultancy. So what is my job role? My job role is senior engineer at Fraser Nash Consultancy. So it's quite a difficult one to guess, really. But I work in the technology management team, which is basically a systems engineering job, which sounds quite, but actually is really interesting when we get into it, which hopefully you'll get by the end of this episode. So what the general public think I do, I think people think that I tap away at my computer all day and look at like when I see systems, I think people probably think about computer systems and stuff like that. So quite abstract stuff. I think that's probably what the general public think. What would you guys think people think in the public of a systems engineer?
Coding, something like that. Or maybe if they're looking at it from a mechanical, no piping or something.
Yeah, it sounds quite boring, doesn't it? Which is, by the way, by the end of this episode, hopefully you'll see that's not what I do at all.
It's very vague as well.
It's really vague, isn't it?
Yeah,
really vague.
If I had to guess, I honestly wouldn't know what systems engineering really is.
I didn't know for years, actually. I started in aerospace and materials, and I remember seeing systems engineers jobs and thinking, oh, that sounds boring. And then when I got into what I do, so because basically I found that I really like doing the multidisciplinary stuff where you talk to like, I was working in a team where we had like a physicist, a chemist, a mechanic, a technician, come on with a chemistry background, and I really liked doing, and then you've got the business side as well, and I really liked like interacting between them, and that's how I ended up going into systems engineering in a long way. So that's what the general public think. Basically, it sounds like I've got a really boring job, and I, like I say, hang around, work with computers and coding or pipes or something generic like that. So what my family think I do, because I did an aerospace background, so I did aerospace engineering with advanced materials, but everyone always forgets that. I think my dad for a long time used to describe me as a rocket scientist, which is like the opposite of like what we've just spoken about, a really boring kind of role. Everyone thinks that sounds really cool, and it's completely not what I do at all. So yeah, I think what my family think I do, I come from a family where, so my mum was a physio, my dad was a fireman for a long time. Now he works on the railways, like the old school steam train railways. And we come from, I think there are maybe some engineers somewhere in the family, I'm not sure, but we've got mechanics, technicians, teachers, but nobody does engineering. So I think, and not many people have got degrees in my family, I don't think. So I think a lot of them just see me as this clever cousin who went to uni and does something with numbers. So I think that's what my family think.
That's the classic. You hear engineer and everyone thinks you're just really good at maths.
Yeah. Or they think you're a mechanic.
Yeah.
Oh,
I get that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I suppose with Becky, you must be worse, yeah.
When you say, F1, they're like, oh, are you a mechanic? And I'm like, no, I wouldn't be able to lift one of the anything, so.
And the funny thing is, I do some stuff on my car as well, just because if I can, I'm quite practical. I don't really do much practical stuff at work anymore, but I am quite practical, and so which doesn't help with that. I think because I do some stuff on my car, people are like, "Oh yeah, well of course, because you're an engineer, right?" And you're like, it's not the same. Okay, so that's family, friends. Okay, so my friends, I think it's interesting. I was thinking about this the other day, and I think there's a clear split in my friends in terms of work and how much we talk about it and how we talk about it. And you've got the friends who do engineering, and you've got the friends who don't do engineering. I think their views of what I do are probably quite different.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you guys talk to your friends about engineering or about work?
Yeah. Yeah.
You do.
Well, not really,
A
but
bit.
for the non-engineering ones, I often get, honestly, I have no idea what you do.
Mm,
Um, I don't
Yeah.
know, yeah. But then, yeah, with the engineering ones, they want to know more and more about what I'm
mm.
working on and stuff because they're interested in tech.
Some of our good friends own a gym, um, and I remember we had a barbecue back in the summer, end of summer, and I had a number of friends coming around. And I remember these guys were coming, and they said, "Oh, is everyone there like, is everyone there going to be like really clever?" And like, I think and they were a bit. I think they were a bit intimidated. And I was
Mm,
like, "Are you kidding me? Like, you have such a cool like they run a gym. Um, like, if anything, people are going to be intimidated by you."
yeah.
Like, you own or a gym, like that's cool. But yeah, I think sometimes people can find it a bit, oh, that's just yeah. People who don't do engineering maybe find it a bit intimidating, and then people who do engineering, like you say, that's quite cool that people want to know more.
Yeah.
Um, what do my friends think I do? Honestly, yeah, engineering ones. Well, so I've got one good friend. I don't have one good friend, but so one good friend in particular, she obviously works in strategy, like engineering strategy for research and stuff. So I think she has a fairly good idea of what I do, because we talk about it like a fair bit of, when things come up with work and stuff,
Hmm.
of how to deal with this and how to deal with that. But I must admit, I don't talk about my work much with friends because I think because I used to work in defense, so you had to be careful about what you say. Now I
Yeah.
just shy away from it. So what I actually do, so if I was to describe this to people, we talk about this quite a lot at work actually, about how to describe what we do because it is quite a difficult thing to explain. So we do a lot of like feasibility studies. We work with a lot of engineering, or technologies, which are sort of emerging. So there's quite a lot of uncertainty. We do a lot of technology road mapping, which is like a whole thing. We do a lot of feasibility studies, and we work across a broad range of technologies, and that's what I really like about it. So, I think the best way to explain it is with a few examples. So, I started this job in February. Since February, I have worked on some nuclear fusion stuff, looking at some potential technologies that might be useful in the future for fusion, and are they worth looking at, basically? Is it worth putting money into them? So a bit of a
Ooh.
strategy thing. We looked at hydrogen. So this was for a government body. A lot of the work I do at the moment is for government bodies, actually, looking at hydrogen, the emerging hydrogen economy, and the kind of transport and storage needs that we'll need for hydrogen. So if you ended up with hydrogen used in, trucks, heating for homes, steel making, power generation, all these kind of things that could come up, what level of storage are you going to need and how are you going to transport that hydrogen around? So that kind of thing.
Mm.
And also looked recently, very, very recently, like handed the report in on Friday, looking at electric road systems and whether that would work in the UK. So that kind of thing. So a lot of energy stuff at the moment, but that doesn't that could change. But yeah, does that help?
Yeah, sounds really interesting. That's like
Yeah.
such a variation of projects.
To learn a lot quickly about each technology as well.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the things about working in the consultancy I work for is very technology focused. And and yeah, part of my job a lot of the time, especially in systems engineering and technology management, is as soon as you start a project, is okay, let's find out how this thing actually works.
Mm.
Yeah, there's like a learning part of a project, and there's doing the project, and then there's actually finishing it off. Um, and yeah, I like that. It's really varied.
Hmm.
So that's what I do.
Were you practical before? Did you ever miss the practical aspect of engineering?
So yeah, I used to be in a lab, so I used to do a lot of lab
Oh,
work.
wow.
I used to work in a clean room a lot of the time. Well, so when I did my year in industry, I did composite stuff. So I was laying up stuff in
Oh,
a lab. That was cool.
that's so
Um,
cool. I did 2 weeks of training in that, and it's really good fun.
it is good fun, and I made some really cool stuff. I worked on some stuff for the A350, did a load of testing and stuff. So more sort of materials engineering, which I used to call it, very simplified, but making and breaking things. That's how I used to describe my job, making
Yeah.
and breaking things.
Hmm.
And then when I was my sort of first job out of uni that developed, and I ended up doing a lot of lab work there as well. So I was working in a proper clean room there with like they call it CMOS. I can't remember what it stands for now, but like micro and nano technology, really small stuff. Used electron microscope, SEM, it was cool. So I used to be
Sounds cool.
really hands-on. And I was a bit worried when I moved away from it that I would miss it. But to be honest, I don't miss it now. I think I was just ready to move on to the next challenge.
Yeah, cool.
That's really cool.
I hope you enjoyed our chit chats this week. If you've liked what you've heard, then please give us a like and a review on Spotify. And if you'd like to find out more about our projects and find out when new episodes drop, give us a follow on social media channels. Just search for Wes ECB.